Well, hello folks out there in YouTube land. Got a big show lined up for you. Let's get right on into it. All right, let's pull up that screen. Cybl, CyberLux. I bought today. I've been telling you all about it for the last couple of weeks with due diligence and all that. I've done multiple videos on it, but I did go ahead and pull the trigger today. Going to talk about why I did that and my plans for it. But first, we'll talk about the market. It's up today, which is nice. Glad to see that. Normally, I will not buy on a green day. That's one of my big pet peeves that I will not do. But I did have a pre-order put in on this one this morning, and it actually filled at the price that it ended Friday. So I'm fine with that under these circumstances, and it is sitting on support. So that's why I did that. Normally, I would not buy on a day like today. I would just sit back and let stuff run. But the market has been horrible last week or two, except for some stocks. But the last couple of weeks have been really rough with the inflation has been terrible. Gas prices are through the roof, over $5 a gallon. It's really unsustainable, and it's going to keep us in inflation for the foreseeable future because really nothing's being done about it other than a little bit of talk about tax relief, which would be like 18 cents. We need $2 off a gallon of where it is right now to get back to sustainable growth at a reasonable inflation rate, because understand gas prices affect everything, whether it's food cost, whether it's shipping cost, cost of goods sold, everything's affected by energy prices. And right now they're unsustainable. But we do have our Hollywood types that are kind of telling us how it is and how we should handle it. We had this moron right here, Dean Norris, and I watched him in Breaking Bad for several seasons. And, you know, he's pretty good pretender, actor, and he makes tons of money doing exactly that. So, you know, he's not concerned about gas prices at all. As a matter of fact, he said here, you're not getting robbed at the pump. You're paying fair market price for a commodity. If you love capitalism so much, then STFU.
You don't need to hear things like that. You just a boy.
So he basically told you to stick it, and especially me, because I'm out here complaining about it. So I take it he meant it towards me, which is charming. You know, guys worth millions of dollars, makes ridiculous amounts of money for acting and pretending. And oh, by the way, it was at 2:29 a.m. when he sent this out, so I'll assume he was very impaired, and I'm sure his manager didn't appreciate that very much because now he's going to have to carry this around for a long time. And then we got this genius here. He tells jokes for a living, makes $15 million a year, and he's happy to pay high gas prices. He thinks they should be higher. That'd be fine with him.
I'm willing to pay $4 a gallon. Hell, I'll pay $15 a gallon because I drive a Tesla.
Yep. When you can afford a $120,000 top-of-the-line Tesla Model S with all the bells and whistles, with just a little bit of spare change out of your pocket, I guess gas prices don't affect you, so everybody shut up about that too. He'll pay $50. Really, it doesn't matter. He could pay $50 a gallon when you're riding around in a $100,000 Tesla. So these are the geniuses that are out there running their mouth. I'm running my mouth too, but anyway. All right, but let's get into CyberLux. Like I said, I pulled the trigger today on it, even though it's got a couple things that are holding it back pretty hard. I feel like this company could do well, and I'm going to go over the reasons why. Here's your profit and loss statement for the first quarter. And as you can see, they took in about $6.2 million, and they've been growing like a weed. And they wound up with a really nice profit of $1.2 million after taxes. So that's a really nice number and a really good margin. And of course, they're doing not only platform as a service, but software as a service, and they sell the LED lighting to the military, I think all the branches basically. And they've got a really good growth story that I like. I'm also reasonably comfortable with their balance sheet. It's pretty good. It's not great, but it's pretty good. And they have been reducing their debt. So I'm comfortable with it. Like I said, it's not a perfect balance sheet, but it's pretty solid. The other thing that I feel good about is they're calling for $44.8 million is their revenue outlook for 2022. They're expecting it to accelerate, and they actually beat what they thought they were going to do in the first quarter. So if you look at their P&L again of $6 million, you know, if you multiply that times 4, that's $25 million. So they're expecting a really big second, third, and fourth quarters. They'd have to be big to hit $44 million. And like I said, they hit their numbers and beat them in the first quarter. So I've got reason to believe they know what they're talking about. The other reason that I bought this stock is it is sitting down here on a support level of 1.3 cents. So that's not too bad. It's flat today. There is another support down here at 1.1 cents. And then, like I said, it's I don't see it dropping much below that unless something happens we're not aware of. And you can see it's like most penny stocks. It ran way up back in the fall and has pulled all the way back down. But this is a profitable company, which is rare for a penny stock. The only other one that I cover that is profitable is Cybl. So, like I said, it's kind of a rare bird. And this is also a stock that's been getting manipulated quite a bit. It ran up when they came out with the announcement that they were going to buy back $19.5 million worth of their shares. And that's a pretty big buyback. If you look at their share details, this is a company with a $66 million market cap and 5.1 billion shares. So at 66 million, if they buy 19.5 million of that back, that's almost 30% right there. So that should make that stock jump just based on that over time. Now that's going to take time because they're saying they're going to take it out of cash flow, but they do have the cash flow if they continue down this path to do that. So as you can see right here, actually I'll make that smaller. Here's where you got that $19.5 million announcement, and then it ran up to almost 2 cents, and then the shorts who ran it up to make so they could do their day trading ran it back down. And so I was waiting for this as well, and then when it got down here, that got me comfortable because they're going to manipulate this stock. And just to show you exactly how they do it, this is June 9th when it ran up, and here's the short volume on those days. As you can see, it went from 20%, 34%, then it went to 52% once it ran up, and it was high and stayed right around 48, 44, 57. And then as it pulled back down and they were satisfied, they got out of their short positions, and now it's down to 18 in the 20s. So that's obvious manipulation to pull it back down. And then they buy back. And then, of course, they buy back their shares, give it back to the rightful owner, and they keep their difference. And they made good money on this trade. So one of the reasons this stock is down at 1.3 cents, given the fact that it's profitable and its market cap is not that high, especially given what it appears to be doing financially, is that it's got a yield sign on it, okay? And I'll show you that. And that's right here. And whenever there's a yield sign, it's because OTC is not happy with the documentation. It's not current enough to suit them. And this company, if you look at their disclosures, they have sent in an amended first quarter to satisfy that, and they have sent an attorney's letter to back it up. So I would assume, and again, this is an assumption, understand that, this should go away over time. The time frame of that is up to the OTC. They have to be satisfied, and they're a little bit slow because there's so much going on with penny stocks. So my thinking is if this gets turned into pink current, this stock should jump. So what I've done is I put it in my Roth IRA, and that's a good place to, and that's a good account to have if you're doing any swing trading at all. If you're day trading, you got to have it. But if you're swing trading, it's a really good account to have. It's super easy to set up. And if you don't have a Roth IRA account, and you ought to have one anyway, but the reality is just go to YouTube. There's tons of great videos on Roth IRAs. It tells you all about it, 5-10 minute videos. Watch 2 or 3 of them. You'll get comfortable, and you can set up a Roth IRA so easy. It's, same. It's the same as setting up a regular account, really. It's just about the same. So, I did it very easily, and if I can do it very easily, so can you. But anyway, be sure to educate yourself on it because it's very useful. It's got all kinds of tax advantages in it. So I'm hoping to turn the tables, and like I say, when and if this thing either the yield goes away and this thing runs up, I'll go ahead and take some profit, and then as they push it back down, I'll buy it back again. I don't know how much they'll push it back down, but they'll work hard to do so. That's just what they do. It's they're day traders. That's how they roll. But I'm going to let them do my dirty work for me.
I'm going to use you two guys to do my dirty work for me.
Now, also understand if this stock does run, you're probably going to have a little attack by George Sharp. That's kind of what he does. He'll find something he doesn't like about it, and he's probably going to come out with something negative. He's kind of got a history of that, so you might as well know that. George is going to be George.
Go on, get out of here. Go on out the garage, leave me be.
Yeah, so don't be shocked if that happens. And I give George some grief, but honestly, sometimes you get a lot of information when he does go after a company. So it's not necessarily a terrible thing. Sometimes it's a double-edged sword. You don't like it, but you end up getting a lot more information than you had earlier in the day. So like I said, he's a double-edged sword. I only bring that up because that's just kind of how it is. In the OTC, you might as well know what you're dealing with. All right, folks, that's Cybl today, CyberLux, and just wanted to give a little update. I'd been talking quite a bit about buying this stock, and I did go ahead and pull the trigger today, and I did I'll dollar cost average this thing. If for some reason it pulls down, I'll just add a little bit more. I didn't go all in on it because I do like to be careful, especially in this market. But, you know, dollar cost average is the way I go. And if you like this content, be sure to hit that like button. Lets me know to continue to cover CyberLux. And if you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. I'd appreciate it. And we'll see you next time on Mr. Frugal Investor.